In the early hours of the morning, the loud clang of Afolabi's gong echoed through the village, rousing everyone from sleep. As Afolabi walked, his heavy steps thudded like those of an elephant, making the ground tremble beneath him. The town crier, Afolabi, his bare feet stirring up dust as he moved. Afolabi was a favorite of the king, trusted with delivering crucial messages to the people. His unique rhythm on the gong was unmistakable, drawing the attention of all the villagers. Afolabi's appearances were rare, usually signaling a serious matter or urgent news. On this particular morning, the villagers gathered quickly, curious about what Afolabi had to announce. As he approached their homes, he sang in a deep, rhythmic chant that commanded attention. "Good morning, my people. Brothers and sisters, market women and men, husbands and wives, and all those I may not have greeted, I greet you." Afolabi's voice boomed as he addressed the crowd. After a pause, he hit the gong with more intensity, demanding absolute silence before speaking again. "The king has sent me with a vital message today. Listen closely. Our wise king, who hears directly from the gods, has received a warning. The gods have foretold that a great famine will strike our land and last for 7 long years. However, we can prevent disaster by preparing now. The king advises all farmers to increase their production threefold. Plant 3 times as much as you have in previous years so that we can sell some, eat some, and save the rest for the famine. Those who plan wisely will live well." Afolabi's message left the villagers in a mix of gratitude and concern. The villagers quickly resolved to heed the king's advice. They all worked tirelessly in the following planting season, determined to grow enough food to secure their survival. The king, in his wisdom, allocated extra land to those without it and even built large storage facilities for the community's harvest. Farmers divided their labor, with some planting root crops like yams and potatoes, while others focused on grains like rice and millet. The entire village praised the king for his foresight and thanked the gods for his leadership. When the harvest came, each farmer dutifully brought their share to the king's storehouse, as agreed. But one man, Maduka, had other plans. Maduka, who did not own land, had pleaded with the king for a plot, promising to contribute his harvest. The king generously granted him land, moved by Maduka's desperation. Maduka worked hard and gathered a bountiful harvest. However, instead of sharing his portion with the community, he secretly stored everything in a hidden shed at the back of his compound. His wife, Neka, was alarmed when she saw the abundance of crops Maduka brought home. "My husband, this is too much for just us. Have you given the king his portion?" she asked. Maduka gave her a stern look. "You don't understand anything, do you?" he snapped. "Why should I give away what I worked so hard for? The famine will last 7 years, and I have 6 children to feed. If I hand over this food, we'll end up starving and begging like everyone else. My plan is simple: we'll take food from the king's storehouse while keeping our stash hidden. When the king's supplies run low, we'll start eating from our own store and even sell some at a high price after the famine ends." Neka was uneasy but stayed silent, fearing her husband's wrath. She reluctantly agreed to keep his secret. As predicted, the famine arrived and devastated the crops across the land. The villagers remained calm, confident that they had stored enough food. The king, through Afolabi, instructed everyone to come to the palace daily to collect rations. Maduka pretended to be in need, dressing in ragged clothes and bringing his children to the palace for food. The king, unaware of Maduka's deception, took pity on him and gave him generous portions. For 6 years, Maduka and his family lived comfortably off the food from the king's storehouse while keeping their own stock untouched. But as the famine dragged on, the king's supplies dwindled. By the 7th year, the store was empty, and the villagers began to suffer terribly. People pleaded with neighboring villages for help. But Maduka and his family remained well-fed, watching the rest of the village starve. Despite their desperation, Maduka refused to help anyone, turning away all who sought aid. Suspicions grew among the villagers. Rumors spread about Maduka's mysterious good fortune, and soon, word reached the king. King Obesai ordered his guards to search Maduka's home. When they raided the compound, they discovered the hidden storehouse overflowing with food, enough to sustain the entire village. Maduka was arrested and punished for his greed and selfishness. The food was seized and distributed among the starving villagers. Neka confessed everything, and the king, seeing her remorse, pardoned her and her children. But Maduka's deceit was unforgivable, and he faced the consequences of his betrayal. The famine ended, but Maduka's name became a symbol of greed and dishonor in the village. His story served as a lesson that selfishness and deceit will always be exposed in the end.